Testing. Hello. 1, 2, 3.
Hello, hello, hello.
Here, try this. See if it comes to testing. Hello. 1, 2, 3. Hello. So. Awesome. All right. Now we're cooking.
Alrighty.
Alright. Whenever you guys are ready, doing the countdown in. Please do. Alright. Is your phone on silent, Alex?
Yeah, it's on vibrate.
Okay.
Let me actually turn it on silent. Okay, good.
Alright, and 3, 2. Hello, everybody, from the 11th inning stretch. My name is Paul Eppy, and as usual, I am joined by my good friend and co-host, Alex Schneider. Alex, how are we doing this week?
I am fantastic.
It's a new week. It's a very dreary week, or it's going to be a very dreary weekend. Hopefully we can get some Cardinal baseball in. Tonight's game might be iffy. Tomorrow's game might be iffy. Even Sunday's game might be iffy.
Yep.
But I do have good news for you. Cardinals are on a win streak. Or they've won, 8 out of the last 10?
Something like that, yeah.
So we do have good news. They're back to 500. We do have a lot to talk about. So let's get right into it, shall we?
Okay, go ahead.
But before we do so, I just remember this. Please do give us a follow on Twitter at 11 inning stretch. We are on Facebook by the same name. And then you can also find us on YouTube. Our channel name is 11th inning. You can find all of our old videos there that we produced last season. So if you want to go in and make fun of us and how bad we were last season, please do. But you can also find all of our podcasts currently this season. They're up on YouTube. They have video streams up on there as well.
Yep.
Sorry.
You know, actually, what makes this a better week for me than what it does for you is technically for me and Paul, SAE's finals week is next week. So we are officially done with normal class for the summer, basically. Paul, unfortunately, has to go back to campus. He actually lives on campus, but he has to go to the classroom and take finals.
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, turned my books in today before we came and shot this because I don't have to come to class. I'm actually done with going to campus.
So if I usually try and live tweet some of the games. Most of the games, you're not going to be hearing from me next week. You're not going to be hearing from me. So, I'll get to Twitter as much as I can, but just a forewarning for all of you who like or even dislike my tweets on Twitter, you're probably not going to be hearing from me much next week because of good old school.
Yeah,
but
those good old-fashioned finals.
Without further ado, Alex, we do have Cardinals notes to get to, and the first note I want to talk to you about today is the Cardinals' middle infield defense. It has not been that good so far this season. I mean, Colton Wong has been actually one of the more consistent hitters so far, through 3 weeks of the season. It looks like he has improved with his bat, but his glove so far has been off to a very, very slow start. He's committed 4 errors. That is the second worst among second basemen in the entire league. This isn't something we expected from him. I don't think this is going to continue. However, it has to be a little concerning that he's committing so many errors because this is what, if we thought one part of his game was going to struggle, it was going to be his bat, not his defense, and it's kind of been flipped.
Yeah. I think the thing, though, if you look at that, though, is it's not just his glove. I think he's had 1 error that has to deal with actually his glove, and I think the other 3 are throwing errors. So, with that being said, that doesn't make it an excuse to why it's happening. I mean, obviously, something's going on. Being an infielder when I play baseball, there's a bunch of numerous things that literally could go through your mind as to why you make errors. Do you have to hurry? Is it something where you think that you can be lazy on and actually you do end up having to hurry? Stuff like that. I think the biggest thing is he's got his hitting down. So far consistently. I'm not saying he's got it down for sure that you can depend on him to do this every day. That's still to be seen. He's got his hitting somewhat in a decent position. His glove will come around. What we're talking about this team is if you listen to the games on TV Or if you just talk to some people like me and Paul, the thing that you keep hearing is, okay, this part of the game is lacking, but you can depend on it to be there. For instance, their hitting has been a struggle, but you know what the Cardinal hitters are that are not hitting well are going to eventually hit well, and I think the same thing comes into play with Colton. His glove and arm is usually there. It will come around.
I'm not worried about it not coming around.
I'm
it's
not
just,
either.
I didn't expect this from him. I expected a slow start at the plate. I didn't expect a slow start in the field. And if you're going to have Colton Wong, and I'm going to get to him next, Aledmus Diaz continue to commit errors, these are issues that popped up last season, and they shouldn't be happening, and they are. So, I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much does this concern you?
It doesn't concern me at all because look at how many things are coming into play here. Aledmus Diaz is his second year full-time shortstop, right? Mm-hmm. Colton Wong, this is his first year. Well, no, this is his second year of getting the full-time second base job. Things are going to be a little rocky, probably. I mean, it literally is like their second year in the league, basically, because they're full-time starters now. Aledmus Diaz, I saw him make a play in the first game of the doubleheader. A little short hop to shortstop. He came up, played it exactly how you'd want somebody to play it, and he threw him out. And that's probably one of the tougher plays to make as an infielder is getting the short hop, how to get it out of the dirt, to pick it, and all that kind of stuff. He did it perfect. I'm not saying that from a Cardinal fan's perspective. I'm saying that from a fundamental ground ball perspective, he fielded it perfect. Came up on the run, gloved it, threw it over, no issue. That showed me, yes, there's errors. If you look at the errors, though, for Colton, it's been trying to turn double plays because he's been turning and getting real low with his arm and it's going away. So I don't know what Diaz's are. I haven't really been paying that much attention. But if his are throwing errors too during a double play or something like that, look at the instance of the play that will show you, because there's probably some plays that he's thrown a ball, maybe to first or to second, that probably shouldn't have been thrown in the first place. So, with that being said, it doesn't concern me one bit. I think that we actually have probably one of the better up-the-middle duos in the league.
We should, on
paper. There's not a whole lot of people that beat that. I mean, obviously, like the Red Sox would beat it. The Cubs probably beat it. I would actually pitch a case that the Atlanta Braves at the middle duo would beat it too. But I would say middle of the pack, or maybe in the top 10 of the middle duos in the league. So I'm not concerned about it one bit. The part that I am concerned about, though, is the next topic that we're going to get to.
Do you mind if I get to Aledmus Diaz?
Go ahead.
I have some more numbers to rattle off here, and that Colton Wong and Aledmus Diaz don't concern me all that much. Diaz has 3 errors, and he's tied for second among shortstops. I mean, tied for second worst, the Cardinals as a team, and I was taking my notes in like 6th or 7th inning last night. I don't think there were any more errors after these notes were compiled. But
some in their sleep.
But they might. The Cardinals have 19 errors this season. That's 27th in Major League Baseball. That's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. I mean,
actually, I think it's with the 2 errors yesterday. I think that puts them at 21. I would check it. I think it's at 21. I think I heard them say they're at 21. I do believe. I could be wrong.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Even
if it is 21, I mean, like
that doesn't make it any better.
Yeah, exactly.
It actually makes it worse.
Yeah.
So my point is, when you have a game like Tuesday night against the Blue Jays, a game that the Cardinals really should have won, and they committed 4 errors, these things, as we saw last year, they really do add up to wins and losses. The Cardinals should have won that game. They should have swept the Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are hurt. They are not playing well right now, or they aren't really playing well the whole start of the season at all, period.
Well, the part of the Blue Jays that's killing them, it's not that the whole team is playing bad. It's their bullpen is awful. The part of the games that I saw, their defense and their hitters did the job. It was just their bullpen gives up a lot of runs.
It's funny you say that, too, because I tweeted out on Tuesday night that that Roberto Ozuna is about to enter the ball game. He's one of the best closers in the league. He's tough to get a hit off of. He's only 22 and he's throwing this nasty stuff. He's one of the better closers out there. And right on cue, he blows the save opportunity, and I believe he did so on Thursday afternoon as well.
Yes, he did.
So right on cue, as I say, Roberto Ozuna is really tough and he's really good. He blows it. That is part of the reasons why they only have like 6 wins.
Yeah, and a thing that Cardinal fans are really used to seeing is, like I said, I watched from about the 8th inning to the end of the game, on the early game yesterday, the afternoon game, and one thing that I think that should have been changed in order for the Blue Jays to stay in that game is Smith, the right-handed reliever, throws sidearm, should have been taken out of the game to face Matt Carpenter as a lefty. Because what he throws to a lefty can sit there and spin, and then basically what happens is J.P. Howell actually pitched against Carpenter, but he pitched, or who did he throw to that was left-handed that roped one into the outfield?
Was this Thursday afternoon?
Yeah, it was the afternoon game.
I had class. So
well, it was Smith, and he pitched against a lefty. I'm trying to think of the lefty hitters in the lineup that's not Matt Carpenter.
Was it Fowler switch hitting?
No. It might have been Adams. Might have been. Because I think Adams came in to pinch hit. It might have been Adams. Or Colton Wong, to be honest. I don't remember. But they they hit a piss rocket line drive onto the outfield. But there was just, in my mind, that game was lost because the manager was really too comfortable with his bullpen and probably should have made some moves.
I did find the stat, and I guess this updated today because I was taking these numbers last night on Thursday night, like I usually do. The Cardinals are now dead last in Major League Baseball with 21 errors. Pittsburgh is right behind them at 20, and so is Milwaukee. So they are the worst team in baseball when it comes to defense. I don't know. I mean, if you measure by errors, they are the literal gutter when it comes to defense.
Mm-hmm.
That concerns me. And our next topic, which you briefly preluded to, was the base running. Also concerns me because these are 2016 issues. They were supposed to solve this, and so far they haven't. And I know it's a long season. I completely understand that. But the only thing that I can go off of right now on April 28th is what I've seen the first 3 weeks of the season, and that's terrible defense and that's terrible base running.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. Like I said, with us being busy with school and stuff like that, I haven't been able to watch a lot of the games. But the yesterday afternoon game, Randall Grichuk, I think it was in the bottom of the 7th, hit a single, scored a run, made it 4-1, and tried to run it to a double. Mm-hmm. And he shouldn't have.
Mm-hmm. I saw that play.
You're running to second base. You can see the center fielder and you can see the cutoff man. There is no way possible that you should have thought that was okay to run.
And you have a third base coach that should be telling you what to do.
Exactly. Well, you actually on that, to go would be your first base coach. Because you don't pick up your third base coach until after you've had the fact of rounding second base. You have your first base coach that should tell you, go or stay. And I think Randall Grichuk took it upon himself, being overly aggressive, and took the extra base. And he didn't have to. There was no need to take that base. Granted, the game did work out in the end. Randall Grichuk did redeem himself with a game-tying home run. But that's the kind of things that's going to make you lose ball games because you're not going to have those late-inning heroics all the time. So, I totally agree with you. But in my personal opinion, I think the defense is less of a problem than the base running.
I'm with you, and I do have some numbers to back up the base running errors as well, or base running mistakes. Colton Wong, he's been picked off once. Diaz has been picked off once, and Matt Carpenter has been picked off twice. We're in week 3, week 4 of the season. You can't have this stuff.
No, you can't. Like there's no.
And that's not to mention all the over aggressive plays you have, like Randall Grichuk trying to stretch a single into a double.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. There's no instance where any of those numbers are okay.
That you can't really quantify a play like Grichuk like that. You can quantify picked off. You can't really quantify over aggressive base running. I'm sure there's some advanced stat out there, but
no, granted, it does work out. Being aggressive sometimes does work out, and it worked out Thursday too. It worked out Thursday too because Ledmus Diaz took a first to third to put him in scoring position, which in turn I think that they walked the next two guys or whatever they do, put them on or whatnot, and we ended up winning. But or no, that wasn't a Diaz. But what it does is being aggressive is okay, but being overly aggressive with things that you shouldn't do. That shouldn't have happened. Randall Grichuk should have never tried to take second. You're losing a ball game 4-1. Your run, technically, by a score person standards, your run doesn't matter because even if your run scores, you still lose the ball game. Even if just your run scores, you still lose the ball game. You take the safe route. You stay at first, especially when the ball's in center field. You can see it; it's in front of you.
It's not like Grichuk is Billy Hamilton either. I mean, he's fast, but he's not. He's an average base runner, I'd say. Is Grichuk? I mean, he doesn't have overly, he's not overly fast. He has average speed. I'd say he has average base running skills. You're not Billy Hamilton. I mean, you can't just run the bases and be safe, and expect to be safe every time you go to the next base.
Exactly. I am so all over the place because I'm getting plays wrong because what I said was Ledmus Diaz went to third and that's what's won. Really, it was Colton Wong hit the triple, then they walked the bases loaded, and that's how we won. I don't remember what happened with Diaz, but he took first to third on a base hit to center.
I think that was on Tuesday night, wasn't it?
It was Thursdays. Okay. Yeah, it was Thursdays. It was in the later innings because in back-to-back innings they had chances to win it. Mm-hmm. Because in the ninth they hit the 2-run homer that did it, and then I think in the 10th that's when Diaz did that, had a chance to win it, and then in the 11th when they won it, obviously we know what happened, grand slam, Matt Carpenter, and so I mean. I'm not trying to get everything out of jumbled up here, but it was a crazy game nonetheless to try to follow and then be able to talk about it.
Well, it doesn't help because there's 2 games in one day, and I love doubleheaders because then you have baseball all day, and there's nothing wrong with having baseball all day. But it does make it a little tougher to talk about, especially given this time of year for us.
But, all that matters is the Cardinals won. Doesn't matter how it happened, they just won.
And let's get to that because I do want to talk about some good news as well. Number one, the Cardinals they're playing well. I mean, they've won 8 out of their last 10, and they're beating teams that they should beat. Again, the Blue Jays. Who knows how they're going to turn out this year? They could turn out to be just a complete dumpster fire.
And you have to look at their team, too. I mean, half their team, the best parts of their team are hurt. Is gone.
Of course. And you don't expect them to go 6 and whatever the entire season, but
I mean,
they're not playing the way they should because they're not healthy. And then the Brewers, you are better than the Brewers. I understand that the Brewers are sort of on the up and up. They're going to be good here in the next couple seasons.
Thanks to one of the guys we're going to talk about today.
But that's not right now.
Exactly.
The Cardinals should have taken a series from the Brewers, and they did.
Exactly. The thing that you can kind of center this around the way that the Blue Jays kind of feel their team falling apart, if you put it in the Cardinals' standpoint, it would be like missing Yachty, probably Carpenter, Dexter Fowler, and then probably losing like a pitcher, and I'm going off this year's stats, not what they were or what they should be. But I mean, they're missing 2 pitchers, 2 of their top pitchers that pitch really good.
Happen Sanchez.
So I mean, you're talking if you took Martinez and Leak out of the lineup, or Leak and Lynn out of the rotation. I mean, and then you try to piece it together from there.
Not to mention Donaldson is an MVP candidate year in and year
out.
And Troy Tulowitzki is one of the better. I mean,
was one of the better.
He was one of the better shortstops, but the current shortstop class in the league is just so deep. but he's still really good.
I mean, let's put it this way: if someone told you, "I'll give you Troy Tulowitzki," you'd be a fool not to take it. Yeah,
right. And then, not to mention, Jose Bautista's having just a tough start to the season as well.
I mean, their best player right now is Kevin Pillar.
Yeah, that's.
And the face you're making, you're not, you're like, oh, whatever, Kevin Pillar. To me, Kevin Pillar is probably, other than Mike Trout, probably the best center fielder in the league. Other than Kevin Kiermaier, who won the Gold Glove.
I'm not saying he's not a good player, but he shouldn't be your best player as of right now.
I heard this stat yesterday on like when I was watching the game. Kevin Pillar had the second best WAR on the team, and Josh Donaldson was the only one ahead of him. So you're talking out of the whole team from last year. So that's what Edwin Encarnacion, Jose Bautista,
Aaron Sanchez, Marcus
Stroman. I mean, you're talking about all these guys that you would think might do it. But Kevin Pillar is doing it the way that the Cardinals normally do it, defensively. And did you watch any of that game yesterday? Like any of the highlights?
Which one?
The afternoon game.
I watched the clips on MLB.com after I got out of class.
Did you see the play that Kevin Pillar tried to make when he dove, and then it literally bounced out of his glove? Oh my gosh, that's have been a huge rally killer for the Cardinals, and it really turned into a rally starter.
Part of this is luck. I mean,
the Cardinals were like, watch this, I'm gonna make him dive. You're gonna hit the ground, ball's gonna come out. You just watch.
You don't mount that big of a comeback and not have any luck involved.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and the lineup was basically put together with the double switches and all that, perfect for what needed to happen. So for all you people out there that hate on Matheny for the double switches, it worked out perfect yesterday, the afternoon game. It worked out perfect, just the way that it should have.
I want to get to Adam Wainwright. He's had a good couple past couple starts. Let's go to Milwaukee in his game at Milwaukee on the 21st.
That was 5 innings and
2 earned runs and 9 strikeouts. And then against Toronto, 6 1/3, 4 earned runs, 4 strikeouts. But he was pitching fantastically until he had that one mistake against Kendrys Morales, and Kendrys Morales can hit a baseball 6,000 feet. So he's pitched well, and for all you fans out there saying Adam Wainwright needs to retire, he's proving otherwise right now.
Didn't Martinez start the first game yesterday?
Yes.
And then Wainwright started the second game at night. Okay.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah, let's put it this way, right? To me, watching the Cardinals, seeing Adam Wainwright go from the closer, who was really good, I still get chills seeing when he struck out Carlos Beltran to get to the World Series, and then when he struck out Brandon Inge in the World Series. He goes from the closer into a starter role. Him and Chris Carpenter, the dynamic duo, I mean, they were the best 1-2 punch in baseball for a couple years. And then now seeing him kind of regress and come back, I mean, let's put it this way. He's now come back to earth. He's been basically non-hittable, humanly possible, with his curveball for years. Mm-hmm. I mean, no one even touched it.
His curveball and Clayton Kershaw's curveball are kind of, reminiscent of one another.
Yeah. And then, last year, he came back to earth. That curveball seemed more human. I mean, he was just tossing batting practice. This year, I haven't got to watch a whole lot of his starts, but I'm assuming the curveball's working again. If not, he's figured out something that's making something work. So, yeah, I mean, he's a guy that you can throw out every 5th day and depend on at least giving you 5 innings. And there's nothing more that you can ask than that.
You cannot expect Adam Wainwright, I don't think, to really contend for Cy Young awards. It's just not going to happen. He's past his prime. I think he knows that.
But he's still effective.
But there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Take a guy like John Lackey.
He passed his prime
10 years ago, and he's still effective. I don't.
For all you guys that just watch baseball but don't really care about the lingo too much, when me and Paul say past their prime, what it is, and we actually talked about it today, what we thought prime age was. For me, your prime age is between about 27 to 31, and basically, what was yours again?
But I'd say about 27 to 30. But it also depends on if you're a pitcher or if you're a hitter.
Yeah. So basically, what your prime years are is what years are you going to perform at the highest level you could basically perform at, and usually every player goes through that. I mean, they call it prime years for a reason because it seems like statistically, every player between these years does that. So Adam Wainwright is well past his prime, but that doesn't mean that he's not valuable to the team or he's still not good enough to play on the team. He's got, in my opinion, I don't know how long he's got left to start, but even once somebody thinks his starting years are over, he's still got a good enough arm. You can put him in a bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's still valuable to the team. He does what they want when they ask him to. So I don't understand why people are like, oh, he needs to retire. Because if that's the case, if you're going off his stats, Carlos Martinez should retire. Because he has been awful.
Well, no, he needs to cut his hair because you know why he's pitching so bad, Alex.
It's his hair.
It's his hair. Of course it is. Of course.
It's his hair.
Yeah.
Granted, I think the hair's ugly as all get out, but
it doesn't matter. I don't care.
I don't think the hair on his head is messing with his arm.
If he has purple hair and he pitches like a Cy Young candidate, I don't care what he looks like. Go out there and pitch. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what your hair is. Yeah, but that's that's a
I'm going to use that excuse the next time I do bad on a test. It was my beard.
Okay.
My beard made me do it. I'm going to use it.
Well, that's the same logic that not a lot, but some people are using here in Cardinal Nation. It's pretty pathetic, but and if you're listening to this and you're one of the people that think Carlos Martinez needs to cut his hair because that's what makes him perform poorly, you need to
actually
reevaluate some baseball.
If you do think that, please go to our Facebook page, go to either like our recent post and comment, and if you can give me a good enough explanation why the hair is what's messing him up, then I'll take it.
If you're a physicist and the hair like screws up his balance or like screws up his motion or something, I might entertain the conversation.
But don't just be on there some Joe Schmo saying, oh, his hair throws off his concentration. Because I can type that in, and that's a load of baloney. But if you have a good enough explanation, go to the Twitter page, you can even comment on the YouTube page, whatever. And if you can give us a good enough explanation, we will read it on the show, give you a shout out.
Might even call you into the show. Who knows?
And then we'll talk about it. But I doubt it's going to happen. I'm not really worried about it.
No.
Yeah. So unbelievable. I don't. Do you have anything else on Adam Wainwright? I think
Adam Wainwright. No, I don't have much else on the Cardinals. Do you have anything else on the Cardinals?
I don't have anything on the Cardinals.
I want to. So I guess we'll split the show up here and then we'll go back into the league news. But I want to mention one thing. This is something that I do during interleague series for the Cardinals. What I like to do is I read the opposing team's city's newspaper. In this case, it's the Toronto Star. That's the Toronto main newspaper. I like to read what other cities say about the Cardinals, and not just Cincinnati and Milwaukee and Colorado.
We all know that Cincinnati and the Brewers don't like the Cardinals.
Because we play them all the time, and it gets a little routine after a while. The Cardinals and the Blue Jays only play once every 3 years, and the Blue Jays, I don't even know the last time they actually came to St. Louis. So one thing that I like to do, and now I would encourage you, Alex, and all of our listeners to do, when the Cardinals play, I think the next interleague series is in actually a couple weeks against the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox are coming to St. Louis in mid-May. Go to the Boston, I think this is the Boston Herald. I don't know what the Boston newspaper is. I'll figure it out later on. But go to the Boston newspaper and then read what the writers, how the beat writers report on the Cardinals, what the columnists say about the games each night. I think it's a very interesting thing because you're not just getting the takes on Cincinnati and New York and Atlanta, teams that we see all the time. Again, you don't see the Blue Jays or you don't see the Yankees at all. Reading the Yankees stuff, especially when I was up in New York, it was fascinating just how they think about the Cardinals and how they report on the game. I would encourage you to do that. I would encourage all of our listeners to do that. It's just something that I pick up on only during the interleague series because it just gives you a different perspective. So I wouldn't, it's a fun thing for me to do.
You know what kind of upsets me when people come to St. Louis or like the normal people where we don't travel like you, go all the way to New York. Every time it seems like one of those big superstar loaded teams comes here, all of their superstars are hurt or they
Mhm.
don't play at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't get it. It's literally like every time they come here. When we go there, their team's perfectly healthy.
Do you know why? I mean, this is just a random kind of far out theory I have. One of the reasons that might happen is because they don't have a DH when they come here. They have to bat the pitcher. That kind of screws with a lot of things in that lineup. I don't know.
Did you know that Dustin Pedroia has never batted sixth ever in his career?
That's 6. I mean, that's.
He's batted everywhere else but sixth. He's starting. It just came across my phone that he's batting in the sixth spot that he's never ever done in his entire career. Is there? I wonder if there's something wrong with that spot.
I don't know. I mean, I don't.
But like, and I say the health thing because I could totally see the Red Sox coming to town, and everybody's hurt.
Yeah, Mookie Betts hurt.
Yeah.
Chris Sale hurt.
Andrew Benintendi hurt. Actually, I wouldn't be opposed to Chris Sale not being able to pitch. I'm okay with that, but you know, because he kind of makes the Cardinals look like fools when he shows up.
Well, he makes everyone look like fools.
Yeah. But to me, and I'm not saying that the teams are corrupt and there's something to it. It's just every time they're here, everybody that you want to watch is hurt. I really wanted to watch Josh Donaldson for this entire series.
We were going to go to the series. I mean, our schedules didn't quite work out, but when we saw that Donaldson was hurt and not going to be playing, we had no incentive to go because I want to see Josh Donaldson in person. I've never seen him play.
Yeah,
in person before.
And the thing was too is we wanted to go watch the Aaron Sanchez start.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was hurt. And I literally lost all interest in going to the series.
And Stroman's not pitching the series.
Because do I really want to go watch Russell Martin play third? No. I want to go watch probably one of the best third basemen in the league play third base is what I want to do. I want to go watch probably one of the best up-and-coming pitchers pitch. Didn't get to do it. Mm-hmm. I don't want to go. I don't care. Mm-hmm. It literally, to me, it just takes all the fun out of it. Because I would have loved to go watch that series. But when the whole good part of the roster's hurt, I have no interest. I don't want to go watch Darwin Barney. I watched him when he was with the Cubs. Didn't care for him then. He's a good player, and I didn't care to watch him. I didn't going to the game today. Gonna watch Darwin Barney.
It's like you have to spend your hard-earned cash to go watch Darwin Barney play second base.
Yeah.
Right. So when the Red Sox show up here in a few weeks, I
expect the whole team to be hurt.
I hope Chris Sale doesn't pitch against the Cardinals, but if he does, I might have to go to that game because he's nasty. And I want to go see Mookie Betts, and I want to go see Benintendi. I want to go see
Dustin Pedroia,
Craig Kimbrell. I want to see those guys play.
Don't worry about it because their whole DL list is going to be full of all those players.
Yeah.
Someone's going to pull a toenail. The other person's going to have a blister.
A strained ego.
Yeah. Pulled testicle. Like something's going to happen, and the whole good part of the team's going to be gone. They're going to throw you guys out like, what's some guys that they. Pablo Sandoval will probably be in there, which is okay, I guess. You're gonna see the bench players basically. Aaron Hill, if he's still on their team, I don't think that he is. But you'll see what's his name, little blonde-haired guy, plays like every position. Brock Holt, you'll see Holt.
Oh, great! Yeah, I can't wait to see him.
Probably play second base because Dustin Pedroia is like, I don't really want to play.
Well,
I'm not saying that.
Who's their first baseman? Mitch Moreland.
Yeah.
Well, either him or Hanley's not going to be playing because they don't have the DH. So.
And when I say that about Pedroia never really turns down playing.
Right.
I mean, none of these guys would turn down. It's just a joke. I mean, it just seems to me that every time one of these big powerhouse teams comes to St. Louis that you don't get to see all the time, everybody's hurt.
Yeah.
Like the Orioles, don't we go to them?
We go to Baltimore.
That sucks because I would have loved to see Manny Machado.
And here's why it especially sucks is because. You know how last year when we played the Angels, it was supposedly their time to come here. It's supposed to be Albert Pujols' homecoming. We're supposed to see him and Mike Trout. Who wouldn't want to see those two play, especially in St. Louis? But it's sort of the opposite, or it's sort of the same with the Orioles. Because the last time we played the Orioles 3 years ago, we also went out to Baltimore. Like I want to go see Manny Machado and Adam Jones and
J.J. Hardy, Jonathan Scope,
Chris Davis. I mean, I want to see these guys play. And nope, we go out to Baltimore once again. It's like, I mean, whoever makes the schedules, I wish you would do a little better job of balancing it. I know I have no control over that, but it's just one of those minor qualms I have.
Yeah, because we're going to be having the Rays at home.
I mean, which is fine, but the Rays aren't any good.
Like, I like Evan Longoria, but I really like Manny Machado.
Yeah, I mean, we had the chance this season of seeing Josh Donaldson and Manny Machado play in Busch Stadium.
Would have been nuts.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is, but
while we're talking about borderline superstars, well, not borderline. I mean, those guys are superstars.
Mm-hmm.
One guy I really want to talk about, who's looking at getting an All-Star game, probably start or at least an appearance from the Milwaukee Brewers, is
Eric
Thames.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not Ryan Braun, it's Eric Thames. And there's one thing that I have got to say that kind of got on my mind the other day. Eric Thames is off to an unbelievable start to the season.
And can I say his stats are
Yeah, go ahead. I know he's got 11 dingers.
He's batting .370 with 11 home runs, 19 RBIs, and a .489 OBP. So that's pretty. It's pretty good.
It's nuts. I saw his stats the last year he played in Korea. He was batting .381. He had 47 homers, 140 some odd RBIs, and had over 1,200 OPS. I mean, this guy, he reinvented himself in Korea, basically. Here's what I want to say, and this is probably going to be a minute, so Paul, if you need a drink or some fresh air, this is what I want to say. Eric Thames is off to a crazy start, and I get that. The thing is the guy, just because he's hitting 11 homers, he's got 19 RBIs, he's hitting way up there in the average, doesn't mean that he's on roids. Baseball fans have trouble with accepting the fact that some players just come into a season crazy hot. There's a bunch of things that go into that. One, either they just found a groove and they're in it. Two, the pitcher is still lackadaisical from spring training. We're in the third week of the season. Pitchers are still trying to get into the groove of things. Third thing is, maybe he's just that good. Like, maybe he just has that much talent that he can do that. Baseball fans have got to get off of this track of assuming people are on steroids all the time because they're on a tear. Starling Marte wasn't even anywhere close to headline news worldwide, and he was on PEDs. Okay? So you have stuff like that, or you have a guy like Ryan Braun who wins the MVP on roids. Why don't you wait for a failed test to come out and then start saying, oh, he was on roids? Mm-hmm. Rather than just assuming because the guy is off to an unbelievable start that I can't be more happy for. There's no way that you should be saying he's on steroids. Trevor Story started last season off incredibly hot, and I didn't hear one single word that he was on steroids. But this guy, who was in the major leagues, wasn't very good, goes to Korea, starts destroying the baseball, comes back here playing in the majors and destroying it. All of a sudden, whoa, he's on roids. He was trash in the major leagues before, and all of a sudden he's good. Roids.
I want to draw can I come back in now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cool. I want to draw a comparison, or maybe a lack of comparison, between him and Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds never tested positive for steroids. It just kind of assumed he did because...
There's no way somebody puts on that much weight and muscle in an off-season.
And that happened over the course of 15 years, however long his career was,
something like that.
20 years. So... We assume Bonds was on steroids,
but conviction.
Right. We assume it because it happened over a long course of, years and years and years. Eric Thames, it's been 3 weeks. He's gonna slow down, but it doesn't mean he's on or not on steroids.
So like he's got plenty of blood and urine.
Mm-hmm. And that was a very, very, very clever response, I thought. Yeah, I'm totally with you on this. Can't we just enjoy a good story? I mean,
why does it have to be bad?
I understand having skepticism. I totally get that, especially in 2017. but that doesn't mean everything is automatically wrong. Can we just enjoy a good story? Because this is the best story so far in Major League Baseball. So why can't we just enjoy this guy raking?
Well, the thing is that what upsets me is that if he goes against your team, well, like the one night he hit 2 homers. Whoever he hits the 2 homers against, that team, every fan is like, oh, steroids.
Dust him.
And he's got the most tests in 2017. I guarantee it.
Oh, I'm sure he's been tested.
Random testing my ass. Like, you guys only get upset when he goes and plays your team and beats up on everybody. He's like, if you look at this way, he has 11 homers with 19 RBIs. He gets an RBI because he scores. A lot of those homers are solo homers. I mean, you can just tell by the numbers. I mean, there's just not that many times that you can get. I mean, look, let's put it, there's eight RBIs in there that was hit with him scoring and another person scoring. They're solo shots, which one tells you the rest of the team doesn't get on base, so he's not going to be super crazy because he can't. There's no way he could hit 30 bombs at this point with the way that his RBI and home run totals are going and have 100 RBIs.
How many runs do you think he's going to hit?
I hope he hits 30, 35.
I think he's going to hit probably close to 40. Well, I mean, I don't. He's not going to hit 60 home runs. He's going to slow down. It's just. That's how it goes.
And the thing is like 11 homers, 11 weeks in. He's already a third of the way to 30. And that's like the coveted number for power hitters in the league today. Unless your name's, Josh Donaldson, Manny Machado, Nolan Arenado, Bryce Harper, when you can hit 40 to 50 bombs. The average number for a power hitter where you can consider yourself power hitter is 30. I hope he hits 35.
I think he's going to.
And I really hope that if things aren't going well in Milwaukee, like I expect them to not go well, I hope he gets traded to a contender that can use his bat. I love this feel-good story because this guy came out of nowhere and is performing at an unbelievable level. Because you know why? He has nothing to prove. If he came here and failed, nobody would say anything else.
Yeah, no one
because he already failed once being here. He'd go back to Korea and make buku money destroying baseballs over there. He came here, nothing to lose. He has nothing to prove to anyone. And he's with nothing to prove, he's proving people wrong. And people get upset because he destroys a baseball against your favorite team.
And you should be upset for him killing your team, but that doesn't mean he's taking steroids.
Yeah, you should be upset at the fact that the pitcher threw him one over the middle. Don't get upset at the fact that he's having a good season and he just added to his totals against your team.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. Did he hit I think he hit a homer against the Cardinals.
He did.
I got upset more at our pitcher for giving him one that he could smash because I wouldn't give that guy anything to hit.
Do you remember what Joe Madden did against Bryce Harper last year, like in the month of April?
Yeah, like walked him like 5 times.
No, it was like 12 times over the course of like the entire series.
Yeah.
I would just start walking this guy. I mean, seriously, why even give him the chance to hit?
Yeah. So I was more, and I'm not upset at him at all. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's a hitter. He's supposed to destroy the baseball. I'm upset at my pitcher for throwing one, just see how far you can hit this one. Let it go for a ride. There's no reason you should be upset at Eric Thames. And Eric Thames is handling the situation very well, in my personal opinion. But there are some teams out there that could use a bat like his.
And the Brewers could probably get back a pretty good haul for him, too.
If he keeps going like he's going. So speaking of people that might need him, do you want to hop straight into the segment of the missing piece?
Let's do it.
Okay, we'll start with the easy team, the Red Sox.
Well, I say we start at the bottom and go with the Rays. How's that?
Okay, whatever.
Start with the bottom and work our way up?
Sure.
All right, let's go with the Tampa Bay Rays. And for those of you new this week, the past couple weeks we've been doing a segment called The One Missing Piece. It is a segment where we go through each division, one division a week.
Every team in the division.
Every team in each division. And we talk about, where they're solid, like what positions they're solid, what positions they're lacking in, and what player could make this team, what reasonable player could make this team good,
And then if they have no shot of being good, then what players do they need to get rid of to start the rebuilding process?
Every team could use a Mike Trout, but he's not gonna. But that's not reasonable.
It's available players that we know of. So a lot of the players that'll be traded are the last year of their contract,
or free agents this offseason, or maybe trade deadline pieces.
Exactly.
Whatever.
So with the Rays, my thing is I don't think that they get anyone. I think they're sellers.
Mm-hmm.
I think they need to get rid of, like, Alex Cobb. They need to get rid of
Evan
Evan
Longoria.
Longoria. They need to start dropping pieces and start rebuilding. Kevin Kiermaier just signed a 6-year extension with him, and I think he's out of his mind. Because there's no way within those 6 years that he's going to come anywhere close to a World Series.
Not in that division.
No. So Kevin Kiermaier, with that control, and it was a pretty club-friendly deal, think needs to be moved as well. So I think that they're sellers. I think they're getting rid of pieces rather than adding any. Because I don't think there's one piece that's going to give them a push.
They need at least 3 or 4 or 5. I mean, they're a mess. So why even spend the time on them? Because they need to sell and they need to actually like go through a full rebuilding process. It kind of seems like they're constantly rebuilding when they need to just kind of blow it up and just start from scratch. But
yeah, they complain about a new stadium, but their team isn't worthy of enough a new stadium. Who's next?
Let's go with the Red Sox. I'll let you
Red Sox.
start off.
Pretty easy. I don't think they need a piece. I think their team's pretty fine where it's at. If they do go out and get a piece, bullpen. Bullpen pieces aren't that hard to find. I don't have anybody in mind, but if they felt like they needed to get a piece, bullpen. Other than that, I think that they're fine standing pat just where they're at.
They're young. They have a pretty killer offense. They have a pretty solid defense.
Pretty solid pitching staff for the most part.
Pitching staff is very good. Bullpen piece is your number one probably need. And I can't really name anyone either because bullpen pieces,
dime a dozen.
They kind of come up spontaneously. I mean, think of like a Mark Melancon. I mean, you didn't really know he was going to be available last season until he actually got traded.
Yeah.
So these things kind of pop up, and it's not like the Red Sox need a bullpen piece to really succeed. But as I told you before the show, Alex, you can never have enough pitching. You can never have enough pitching.
Well, there's not
someone's going to get hurt, someone's going to be hot, or someone's going to be cold. You know, why not go get another starter or another bullpen piece?
And there's not a whole lot as of right now, and we're going to do this again about mid-season before the deadline. But as of right now, they don't have any big glaring holes.
They don't. No.
I mean, we talked about it before the show. Pablo Sandoval has been raking for them.
Well, he's been hurt, but
before he was hurt, he was doing a pretty good job. Defense was still there. The one spot that we both kind of thought of too was catcher, and Sandy Leon is doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
So there's in our opinion, because I speak for me and Paul on this one, we didn't really find a big hole.
No. And do you want to move on to the Yankees? Because now we're going to have some holes to fix with the Yankees, Orioles, and
Blue Jays.
Let's go to the Yankees. I've written down for them lots of young power, which is we're so used to seeing the Yankees buy talent. With the team that they're building right now, they've been growing, quote, more talent, which is finally good to see because that's one reason the people hate the Yankees so much is they just spend their money, willy-nilly and buy talent. But they have not done that with guys like Greg Bird, Austin Romine, Gary Sanchez, Aaron Judge,
Luis Severino,
Aaron Hicks.
Aaron Hicks wasn't on their team. He was traded.
Was he traded?
I think so.
Oh, I stand corrected.
I do believe so. You can keep talking and I'll look it up.
Please do go ahead. One thing that I do think the Yankees need is a rotation piece. Masahiro Tanaka is I think he's actually underrated. I think he's a very, very solid number one ace of the rotation.
Yeah, he made his debut in 2013 with the Twins.
Hicks did. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, say it again?
2013?
Okay. I stand corrected on him then.
But he was still traded to the Yankees
when he was young.
Played in their farm system. So, I mean, you can kind of say they didn't go out and spend money on him as a free agent and drop millions and millions of dollars. So they still really didn't buy him, but, I mean, they didn't draft him and then groom him.
Now, obviously, guys on their team that are not homegrown, you have Chase Headley over at third, Didi Gregorius over at short, Starlin Castro at second, and then obviously a guy like Matt Holliday and
Jacoby Ellsbury
and Chris Carter.
Here's the thing, though. All those players you've mentioned that they went out and got via trade or dropping money in free agency, it wasn't like when they did it back in the day. Because when they did it back in the day, you're talking they would sign 2 to 3 top free agents in one offseason, and they would do it all the time. For instance, Alex Rodriguez. I mean, they're still paying
him. I think he's off the payroll after this season.
Jason Giambi, I believe, was a free agent that they signed because I don't think they drafted him.
Mark Teixeira.
Mark Teixeira was another guy that they dropped millions and millions of dollars.
CC Sabathia.
Yeah, again, I mean, they would go out and they would sign. I mean, it was like every year when there was a top free agent, they would say, well, we kind of need to fill that position. Bam, drop it. Starlin Castro, not a top free agent. Chase Headley, when he was traded to the Yankees, was, but he's not in that limelight anymore. So he's really not top. The last top free agent that they signed was Jacoby Ellsbury. And the only reason that was blown out of proportion was because he was coming from the Red Sox. Because he hasn't really done anything for them in New York. He hasn't done anything. The best outfielder that they've had producing for them before this year with Aaron Judge was Brett Gardner.
Brett Gardner or Carlos Beltran when he was there. I don't know.
Exactly. So, I mean, they haven't really signed a top free agent that's produced for them that you could plug in as their top guy in a long, long time. Which is different to see.
I'm looking at their depth chart right now. They have, and I saw this when I was up there against the Cardinals. They have a really good bullpen. Low-key, really, really good bullpen. Obviously, Chapman, we all know about him.
I don't think that we do. I think he's too fast.
Oh, do you need me to talk about Chapman? Or what's happened to you? Well, yeah, so there's this guy named Aroldis Chapman. He came from Cuba, and he pitched for the Reds for a little while. He can throw like 160 million miles an hour.
160 minutes. You're gonna confuse somebody.
Oh well.
Mom, I heard on the podcast this guy throws 160 miles per hour, or 160 million miles per hour. How fast is that? I think that's impossible. Your arm would fly off.
They also have, moving on. They also have Dylan Betances, who
don't even talk about him.
He could be a closer on any other team in the league. And then
he could just be your bullpen on any other team. I mean, who do you need in the fifth? We're going to call Betances. Oh, he's going out for the 6th, the 7th, the 8th. Oh, and he's closing it too.
And they also have Tyler Clifford, who has had a lot of experience closing games for a lot of teams.
And he's
pretty good. So they have a dominant bullpen, but the spots that I'm worried about them is the depth in the starting rotation. Like I said, Tanaka, very good number 1 starter. I actually think he's a little underrated, which is kind of impossible to do when you're playing in New York. But CC Sabathia, again, sort of like an Adam Wainwright. He's serviceable. He's good, but he's past his prime.
He's trying to learn how to pitch instead of just throwing. I mean, you hear that a lot with baseball. Because guys lose that 95 to 100, and then they're like,
what do I do now?
Yeah. I guess pick up the knuckleball.
So, to round out their rotation, they have Michael Pineda, Luis Severino, and this kid named Jordan Montgomery, who we have not seen very much of yet. He's only 24, so we'll give him time. But they need another spot, they need another good to great piece in their rotation to really contend with the Red Sox and even maybe like the Orioles. So we've mentioned his name a lot on this show, and we do recycle names on here because they really could fit on any team that need them. My guy for the Yankees is Jose Quintana. The Yankees have the money to spend and probably the prospects to trade for Quintana to the White Sox. Tanaka and Quintana and then Sabathia as a 1-2-3. That could fare very well for you going down the stretch. I think if they were to reach the playoffs, that could be a pretty good 1-2-3.
I don't have anything else. I totally agree with you. I think Jose Quintana would fit for them marvelously.
And again, we mentioned his name a lot, and that's not because we don't have anybody else to say, but that's because he could literally fit on any contending team.
He would fit on every team. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't make them winners, but he would fit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay.
Who's next?
Let's go to the Baltimore Orioles.
Okay.
Let me pull up their depth chart. Do you want to start on them?
Yeah, I'll start on them. So me and Paul were talking about, we actually talked about this whole segment before the show. So what we kind of both thought was corner outfield. I mean, that's basically their biggest hole.
They have Seth Smith over in right, and Chris Davis can play right too.
I guess you can put play in air quotes.
Yeah, right. It's kind of like putting that out now. he can stand out there and
you'll see him
catch an occasional fly ball or two, but.
But what he was saying before his microphone decided to have its mind
for
of its
those
own.
of you who heard that and just kind of heard me stop talking, my microphone's magically moved on me.
But and then they have Hyun-Soo Kim.
Hyun-Soo Kim, yes.
who's I guess okay. I mean, he's not one of the guys that comes over from Korea and destroys the baseball. So we were thinking corner outfield. Personally, in my best, the one that I could come up with that fits there is Chris Davis from the A's.
Sure.
Power hitter.
He fits the system so very well. He has okay defense and he can mash a baseball.
Yeah.
What's not to like? And the A's could probably do well in selling him.
Yeah. I mean, other than them, I mean, you can think of a Melky Cabrera, I guess.
I have an Andrew McCutchen.
And Andrew McCutchen would work as well.
So.
But other than that, I think the only other hole is their pitching staff.
But it's funny you say that because we say that every single year. Oh, the Orioles, they have great offense, pretty good defense, but their pitching rotation just isn't very good, and they seem to get by with it most years.
Yeah, I mean, when
they make the playoffs.
When you play half your games in your home ballpark that's made for hitting dingers, you can get by with that. If they were playing in Miami, they probably wouldn't get by with that pitching staff.
Right.
I'm not saying that the guys in there aren't good. Gosman's really good.
Bundy's been having.
Bundy's okay.
Ubaldo Hernandez, I don't think he's all that great anymore. But
Tillman's still pretty effective apparently. I've seen him pitch a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, and when I say pitching staff, I mean like if they found somebody that could be like a 3-starter. I mean they're not probably going to go out and trade for Jose Quintana. I mean if they do, good for them. Probably not going to, but I think a corner outfielder would be perfect for them. And Chris Davis would work marvelous for that.
I'm looking at their bullpen, and gosh, that bullpen is good too. I mean, just think about it. Zach Britton, we all know about and the guy who's filling in for him right now because Britton's on the DL is Brad Brock. He's dominant. Darren O'Day has been good for a number of years. I don't know how much you know about Michael Givens. I think it's Michael Givens. He's good too. I mean, they have a bunch of arms in that bullpen that could reasonably close a game for you, and they're just stacked from 6, 7, 8, 9 on. So, yeah, probably corner outfield is your first target, and then pitching.
Yeah,
obviously is your number 2 issue. Okay, the last team we have is the Toronto Blue Jays. I guess I know when to start this one. Sure. The Blue Jays, as of right now, today, April 28th, they need to get healthy. Number 1. Because as we sort of said with the Cardinal series, they just don't have any healthy players. Like all their superstars are hurt, and if your superstars were healthy, they would have a very reasonable chance to make the playoffs as a wild card team. I think as a wild card team, but no one's healthy. So I think health is their number 1 issue. But if you're looking long term, I think they could probably use a first baseman, a hitting first baseman. Justin Smoke, as we were talking about before the show, he's pretty solid defensively, not all that much, or not all that great offensively. They don't really have any giant holes, but they're another team that could benefit from just having another pitcher, having another bullpen piece. A guy like Jason Grilli, I think he's actually approaching 40 years. He's about 40 years old. Yeah, so. Maybe a young bullpen arm. What do you think? It's kind of hard to gauge this team because they don't have a glaring hole, but they're not, studly over at one position other than third base with Josh Donaldson.
I think one big thing for me, going back to the A's here, Chris Davis, I think fits that team. And then I also think Jose Abreu would fit that team.
Jose Abreu is a good name. I do like that name a lot.
I think he would fit that team very well. But like you said, when they're all healthy, I don't think that there's even a glaring hole. And I had said second base before the show. And in thinking about it and watching the series that just came in, Darwin Barney actually is a fairly good second baseman.
I mean, he won a Gold Glove with the Cubs,
yeah,
so he clearly has the propensity to play defense.
Yeah, I mean, he's look, you look around the league. How many teams have a dominant second baseman and a dominant shortstop? There's not too many.
Offensively and defensively, not many.
I mean, I can think of 1 in the Astros.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 with Boston. I guess 3 with Seattle. Mm-hmm. But other than that, there's not a whole lot up the middle duos that are as good as like the Astros one. So Darwin Barney playing a solid second base would be good enough for me. Now, with saying that, Troy Tulowitzki needs to pick it up a little bit because he has been trash since he came to Toronto. I mean, he's been really bad. But I don't think that it's worth going out and trading a lot of your farm system for a top second baseman.
No.
Because I can't think of any right now that would be on the market because I don't think the White Sox are looking to get rid of Yoan Moncada.
Well, I do know that Jose Altuve is a free agent at the end of the year, but the Astros are not going to trade him because they're not looking to sell. They're going to be contending. I mean, they have one of the best records in the league right now. They're not going to be selling Jose Altuve. Whether he comes back next season remains to be seen.
He probably will.
He probably will, but that remains to be seen. Maybe some team will offer him a boatload of money, which he rightly deserves, but they're not going to sell him at the trade deadline. And there's really nobody out there that the White Sox aren't going to be dealing Moncada when they just got him.
I mean, the only other player that I kind of thought of, and he's played for them before, and he played second base for the White Sox last year, is Brett Lowry. And that's a cheap deal. I mean, he can still hit, and you'd have to think if he even want to come back. But he's played second base. Again, is it worth going out and maybe making a move like that? Maybe not. Maybe you're okay with Darwin Barney. But other than that, I don't have a giant hole that I would need fixed.
I have the free agent list for 2017-2018. I'm just kind of thinking about what players could possibly be traded, and there's really nobody on here. There are some good names. Altuve, Estribal Cabrera, Judd Lowry, Logan Forsythe, although he just signed with the Dodgers, Ian Kinsler, Eduardo Nunez, Brandon Phillips. I mean, there are some decent names on here, but nobody that really screams out to you, trade bait.
Get this. So I'm looking to see if the Cardinal game is still on today.
Mm-hmm.
Ian Kennedy's 0-2 with a 2.08 ERA. No run support there. And then I go all the way down to the bottom, and I see the Padres and Giants matchup. This guy named Perdomo.
Luis Perdomo, I think? Yeah.
0-0 with a 6.97 ERA.
You know, one team that we have not talked about a single bit on this show is the Padres. And
they don't deserve.
They don't deserve. Yeah, they don't deserve our attention. The only attention that they're going to get all season is when they're playing the Cardinals in the one missing piece segment, probably next week actually, NL West.
Probably, yeah.
That's probably the only time you're going to hear us talk about the Padres. So.
Oh, and then Jeff Samardzija, that was apparently a hot topic to sign and trade. He's 0-4.
He had a bad
7.40 ERA.
He had a pretty mediocre year last year.
Kenta Maeda.
He's on my fantasy team. Don't even bring him up.
1-2 with an 8.05 ERA. The Colorado Rockies pitcher that's thrown tonight against the Diamondbacks, who are 15-9. Sleeper team.
We gotta talk about the Rockies next week. Yeah.
No, the Rockies are 14-9. The D-backs are 15-9. The guy pitching for the Rockies right now is 2-1 with a 3.32 ERA. This is nuts. But then you got the dude from the Twins 0-3 with a 9 ERA. Wow. Tell you what, pitching numbers are sucking lately, and offensive numbers are through the roof.
And that's been the trend across the league for actually a couple of seasons.
This Anderson fella from Milwaukee.
Tyler Anderson, yeah.
Yeah, 2-0 with a 1.13 ERA.
Speaking of Tyler Anderson from the Milwaukee Brewers, can we get into the series previews? Because the Cardinals play the Brewers next week.
And they'll face him. If he's pitching today.
They are going to face him, that's right.
He would be the second game of the series. Hi, Andrew.
Sure. Okay, so last part of the show, we are what, an hour?
We're just sitting for an hour.
Okay, so this is the last part of the show, unless you have anything else.
I don't have nothing.
I do have series information for the Cardinals and the Cincinnati Reds. That series is supposed to take place Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but
the game, as of right now, is still on.
It's supposed to be pretty crappy all weekend in terms of
pretty wet,
moist. I knew exactly what you were thinking with that one.
Yeah, wet and moist.
So,
moist.
Can you stop distracting me? Jeez. Okay, so the Cardinals series, who the Cardinals are throwing out there. Lance Lynn on Friday, Mike Leake on Saturday. Yeah, the best pitcher in the Cardinals rotation right now. And then Michael Wacha on Sunday. The Cincinnati Reds are throwing out Tim Edelman on Friday, tonight. Bronson Arroyo. Not sure how he's still in the league,
I'm
but
rename him Tommy John.
Yeah. He's pitching on Saturday, and then Amir Garrett is pitching on Sunday.
Who pitched really well.
Do you know his story? You know, next to Eric Thames, I think this Amir Garrett guy has one of the best stories out there.
He got, they were talking about it during a Cardinal game when he was here. He got, D1 scholarships to play basketball.
He was a D1 basketball player at St. John's University, Big East.
Yeah, and decided to play baseball instead. He won, a high school dunk contest or something like that. Decided to play baseball, and he came here and showed the Cardinals what he could do. And he did pretty darn well.
I pulled up his numbers. The past couple starts have been rough against the Brewers and the Orioles, but those teams can beat you up pretty quickly given their power.
Especially when you got Eric Thames hitting like he's hitting.
Given their power. But in his start on April 7th against the Cardinals in St. Louis, he went 6 innings, no earned runs, 4 strikeouts. From a rookie, from a 24-year-old rookie, that's pretty daggone good. I wouldn't be surprised if he does it again. We'll see what happens. But I think next to Eric Thames, this Amir Garrett guy is one of the best stories in the league, and I wish him all the luck. I mean, not against the Cardinals, but if he goes out there and pitches the daylights out of every other team in the league, good for him, man.
Yeah, because I don't know of any other story that would really
He's my player to watch as well because, again, he did pitch very well against the Cardinals in his first start of the season, and again, it wouldn't surprise me if he does it again.
My player to watch from the Reds side of things, it's very easy to pick Joey Votto.
Yeah.
My thing though is, I want to see Zach Cozart because for a long time he was considered that top shortstop prospect for them. He had a good couple seasons. He kind of fell off. He did okay last year. I'm wanting to see what he's all about defensively and offensively. And then obviously you got to look at Billy Hamilton. I mean, you have to watch Billy Hamilton.
It's been fascinating to watch Billy Hamilton run against Yadier Molina because that was like the matchup, a couple of years ago when Billy Hamilton first entered the league. It was like, oh my God, okay, this is going to be like an awesome matchup to see what Yadier Molina does against Billy Hamilton and vice versa. Billy Hamilton's owned Yadier Molina.
Yeah, but I mean that's not. Yeah,
that's not Molina's fault.
It's not all Molina's fault.
Well,
if the ball doesn't get there quick enough, let's put it this way: Billy Hamilton's a freak of nature when it comes to speed.
Oh yeah.
But Yachty has thrown him out a couple times.
You're exactly right, but it's. You can't ignore the numbers though. Billy Hamilton
no.
has
he's gonna run.
His own, right.
He gets on base. He's going to run.
Put him on third base.
Basically, he's going to run. It's what's going to happen. Now we just got to see if the Cardinal pitchers are going to throw it fast enough to where Yachty even gets a close chance to throw him out.
Mm-hmm.
Because Yachty's always had a plus arm his whole career.
Mm-hmm.
My player to watch for the Cardinals, mine's pretty easy. And I have 2.
Colton Wong again?
Colton Wong, because he's just raking. But for another reason, and it's also Lemus Diaz for the same reason as the other one. Defense. Want to see that up-the-middle defense get better. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that with this series, it'll be a turnaround series, and maybe we can get things going again.
My player to watch for the Cardinals is Dexter Fowler. It seems like the only hits he gets so far this season have been home runs. Solo home runs. He's 3 home runs. He's only batting .224. He's had a slow start. There's really no.
And he knows that.
If ands or buts about it. Do you remember those OBP numbers we were talking about a couple weeks ago? 400 OBP puts you in elite categories. He's only, 400 is elite. Below 300, you're subpar. He's batting, his OBP is 295. That's not good. Especially
but it's
for
not
his
awful.
Standards. Especially for his standards, he should be.
He should be closer to 4.
He should be at least 370. Again, April 28th. I understand that, but again, the only thing I can evaluate so far is what I've seen. And from Dexter Fowler, he's been slow to start at the plate. I want him to heat up because if he heats up, it's going to be hard for the opposing team to keep him on base, strain him on base because he can run. He has good knowledge of the base paths, unlike a lot of other people in the Cardinals, it seems like. So I want to see him heat up. That's my guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Finally, the Milwaukee Brewers are coming to town Monday, May 1st through Thursday, May 4th. The pitchers for the Cardinals in that series, we actually don't know Monday's pitcher because of the doubleheader. It was supposed to be Martinez, but the doubleheader kind of screwed that up a little bit. He was supposed to pitch on Wednesday and he pitched on Thursday instead. So Martinez is going to pitch on Tuesday. At least that's what ESPN's telling me. Martinez on Tuesday, Wainwright on Wednesday, Lynn on Thursday. Then for the Brewers,
Monday will be a spot start by somebody.
maybe Tyler Lyons.
Probably.
Yeah.
Or Alcantara.
Who knows? Maybe not. Maybe so.
Hmm?
Who knows? Wait, is it Alcantara or is it Alcantara? Because I've heard both.
I think it's Alcantara.
I thought it was Alcantara too, but during the spring training games, I was watching. Dan McLaughlin often said Alcantara. I'm like, is it Alcantara or Alcantara? I don't know.
I don't know if it's just.
We'll figure it
I don't
out.
know if it's just the Cardinals, like announcers, but they struggle with names, and I mean just in normal things that they should be good at. They
Yeah.
struggle, and there's nothing against them. They're good guys, I'm sure, but I don't watch anybody else's feed, and it just seems to me that we struggle a lot pronouncing names.
We're all aboard the struggle
Yeah,
bus.
just talking in general, Cardinals announcers struggle just a tad. Not saying that we're the greatest, because we do mess up too.
Right.
But it's just funny to listen to, on national TV, and they're like, "Oh yeah," and you're like, "Wait, what? Huh? I shouldn't have to question you. I should be questioning the game. Why am I listening to you?" Oh man.
So, for the Brewers, they are tossing out Zach Davies on Monday. Willie Peralta on Tuesday, and Tyler Anderson on Wednesday. Wait, sorry, is it Tyler Anderson?
No, it's Anderson.
Chase Anderson, my bad. Tyler Anderson is the Rockies.
Mr. Anderson.
Chase Anderson for the Brewers. Tyler Anderson is the pitcher for the Rockies. And then on Thursday, it's going to be Jimmy Nelson. Thursday's game is a 12:45 start, so if you're looking to go to that afternoon game on Thursday, know that it starts at 12:45. My player to watch for the Brewers, we talked about him earlier in the show, is he going to keep breaking? Eric Thames.
Mine is too.
I mean,
what?
what else is there to say, really?
I mean,
So-
who else would you want to watch at this point on the Brewers? Because I swear to God, I hear somebody say Ryan Brown.
Jonathan Villar is good. I mean, he's had a slow start, but he's
okay.
He's good.
But I mean, there's nobody on there that was like, oh my God, like when Eric Thames is hitting the way that he's hitting now, you want to see him at the plate.
You have to stop what you're doing and go watch
Yeah.
him. Right.
Yeah.
Player to watch for the Cardinals? Go ahead.
I don't really know.
I'll go with Trevor Rosenthal because did you watch his save last night? He threw 102. That's like
make him a starter.
And that's Dan and I think it was Rick Horton doing the game. That's Chapman territory. 102 is literally Aroldis Chapman territory.
We've seen him throw that before, though.
We have, but I didn't think it'd be coming right now.
No.
I didn't think he was going to be this healthy to the point where he could throw 102.
There's
And if he
serious,
continues to throw 102, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
there's serious talk apparently out of the Cardinals side of things that are wanting to make him the closer.
Rosenthal?
Because
I
saying
could-
1-0
I
has had some troubles.
I could see it, but I'm not willing to just give up on O right now. But Rosenthal has to be your first man up at this point. And
Not Matt Bowman.
he's good though. Let's not be
Matt
mistaken.
Bowman, not a closer.
Maybe later on.
No.
I'm not giving up on Matt Bowman.
I'm not saying I'm giving up on Matt Bowman, like as a pitcher, but he's just not,
Who
in
knows?
my mind, a closer.
Sometimes you don't have to throw a million miles an hour.
I'm not
to-
saying you have to throw a million miles an hour.
to
I'm
lose
just
the
saying
game.
he's used to getting into the game
He
in a
is.
jam and
He
maybe
is.
throwing a pitch and being done.
He is.
Not starting off an inning brand spanking new.
He is. But
That's just my thing.
and you're exactly right. But I'm just saying let's not say he'll never be a closer.
Oh,
Because
no,
I think
no.
I think he could be. So
He could be, but it would take a whole off season and a spring
Yeah,
training
you're
to
right.
do that.
You're right.
I mean,
so my player to watch is Trevor Rosenthal. If he continues to throw
my
100 mile an hour plus,
my player to watch for the Cardinals in that series, and it's because Mike Matheny keeps using him even though he's been really bad. There's not a lot of better
Jonathan
options.
Broxton.
Jonathan Broxton. He has been terrible. And he's god awful. And I believed in Jonathan Broxton when we brought him here because he was good.
Mm-hmm.
He has just been horrific.
Excuse me. Wow. I'm going to pull up his numbers right now.
Sound like a fake cough.
No, I actually got something going my throat. He has a 9.45 ERA in it's only 6 innings pitched, but those 6 innings pitched have not been good.
Apparently not.
He's given up 7 earned runs, 2 home runs, and 6 walks and 5 strikeouts.
He did come in the first game Thursday and threw yesterday. And
he did,
threw a scoreless inning.
He had a scoreless inning. Yeah, he had. Although he did give up 2 hits.
So basically, if you think of that, right? He threw a scoreless inning yesterday. Did he pitch the second game?
No.
Okay, so if you think about it that way, then you have to look at it this way too. Then he's technically, before yesterday, he had 5 innings pitched with 7 earned runs.
Mm-hmm.
That's horrific. That's
you
need to
would
go.
think he'd be the first one to go. Should somebody need to be called up from Memphis?
Yeah, I mean that's terrible.
Yeah.
So I mean, if he's gonna get some things moving, that's my guy to watch. He's got to get something going. Because right now he's not viable to pitch against anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Trash. And then Colton Long, obviously he's my other one.
The only people I would trust Broxton against is when the game is a blowout, one way or
And
the
I
other.
wouldn't even do that because then Jonathan Broxton, he'd give up like 18 runs and we'd end up losing the game. And then the other person, and you can't deny what Colton Wong is doing at the plate right now.
You cannot.
Everybody is like, he needs to hit better. Blah, blah, blah,
He's batting 250.
And he complain. No, before the season.
Right.
Complaining, he needs to hit better. Well, then he goes and hits better, and then everybody's like, he needs to learn how to use his glove. Would you just give the guy a damn break and let him do? You asked him to hit, he's hitting. Give him a break.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the best hitters on the team right now.
Do you remember from earlier on, I want to say like right before the season started, I asked you the question, what numbers will Colton Wong need to produce at the plate for you to consider him to be viable?
250 to 270 hitting.
I said 240 to 260, and guess what he's batting right now as of today?
250.
250. With an OBP of like, I think 335.
Which is okay for an ankle hitter.
Which is fine, yeah. That's totally acceptable. So I'm with you. Let's start pumping the brakes on calling Matheny to bench Wong. It's not going to happen. Sorry, his OBP is 348. Even better. So
he's not going to bench him because he's the best hitter on the team right now.
Yeah.
Nobody's hitting.
Never. I'm not going to put it past Mike Matheny to bench him though. So it's happened repeatedly before.
It has, but if he benches him for not just a day off, something's got to happen. But you know what, Paul? It's just a wrapper and a Gatorade bottle, so let it come through.
This kid's an idiot, man.
I don't have anything else, Paul. What do you got? You got nothing?
I got nothing. No.
I want to go home and start my summer vacation.
I want to go home and study. So I will call it there for today. I do want to encourage you to give us a follow on Twitter at 11 Inning Stretch, Facebook 11 Inning Stretch. Our YouTube channel is 11th Inning, 11th space inning. That's all I have for you. And also go check out all the other shows over at lineupmedia.fm. Whatever you want to hear about, they got it. They got it.
Hands down, they'll have it.
So please do talk to us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. If you listen to us on iTunes or any other platform, give us a review as well. We appreciate your feedback.
And also, too, real quick, a kind of update, because I kind of do the Facebook side of things. Be prepared for more posts on Facebook now that I'm pretty much done with school. Paul will probably give some Twitter stuff on there before he leaves to New York, because that officially became official that he is leaving. He had a problem with housing. He was throwing like a 6-year-old girl throwing a fit at school the other day.
Well,
over some housing. I mean, Jesus. Anyway, he's officially leaving. So, but before he leaves, I'm sure that the Twitter page will be filled with some stuff.
Oh, and the Twitter page isn't going to stop. Just because I'm 1,000 miles away doesn't mean I'm going to be not on Twitter. It's not. I'm still going to watch Cardinal baseball. I'm still going to be on Twitter. You're not going to notice a huge difference.
Yeah. So, and then the Facebook page, like I said, will be updated with a bunch of stuff. And I want to try and get a more personal feel to the Facebook page. Kind of give you guys light into my life. And then I don't know if Paul's going to do the same. But I'm not going to do like crazy things. But, you know, we're just going to, activity is going to be higher now on the pages than what it was before. Now with us, basically, I mean, almost, I'm done with school. Except for a paper. Yeah. You got some tests to take and some papers I know you said you had to type. which might be done.
Papers are done, tests are not.
So we still got a little bit of schoolwork left, but other than that, we're pretty much done. So like I said, those pages will be having more activity on them here until school probably starts back up.
Mm-hmm.
So Paul, it was nice chatting
Thanks
with you.
for joining me. It was another fun week.
I guess the next time I'll see you will be next Friday because I ain't going to campus this week.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you, and I'm stuck on school doing tests. Cannot wait for that. You will see me again next week, Alex. I will see you soon. Thank you for joining me today. It was fun.
Very welcome.
And one thing I do want to throw out one more quick note. For those of you who are new, I would encourage you to go back and check out our shows from last season. But we had a guest last season named Jake Wesley. Jake, if you were randomly listening to this, I'm going to give you a text pretty soon. But he's a kid that I work with. He's in high school right now. He's really cool. He's actually the Cardinals' bat boy. He has a really cool story, and he's very, very knowledgeable about baseball and about the Cardinals. And I think he could give us some cool stories about being the bat boy for the St. Louis Cardinals. He just started that this year, and I thought about it last night, and I want to have him on the show. If we can get it done before I leave for New York, that'd be great. If not, then we'll probably have a Skype conversation with him and maybe post it on here. But I work with the Cardinals bat boy. That's pretty cool, and I have not heard any of his stories yet. And again, he's very, very knowledgeable about baseball too. So I'm looking to have him on the show. Jake, if you're listening to it, give me a text, and we'll schedule something up. Alex, thank you for joining me this week.
You're very much welcome.
Thank you to lineupmedia.fm for hosting us once again this week. Andrew, thank you for sitting in the producer's chair. That's all I have for you this week. Today is April 28th, and we'll be back next Friday afternoon, as always. But until then, everybody, have a safe and dry and wonderful weekend.